After 20 plus years of international travel, I've seen just about every trick for saving money on the road. Cheap flights, points, a little hack here, a little hack there. Heck, several of our most popular videos here on this channel are about saving money on travel. But the truth is, some things are not worth cheaping out on. And in many cases, that really good deal comes at a cost. So in this video, I'm sharing 3 things I will never cheap out on when I travel. Starting with the first one, my time. Time is the one thing on a trip you can't buy more of. Your flight lands when it lands. You fly home when you fly home, and everything in between is a fixed number of hours, and you're literally paying money to be there. So anything that allows me to maximize my time on the ground, within reason of course, I'm interested. For example, skip the line tickets. So many museums and attractions these days offer skip the line tickets. Now look, on paper, I know paying extra to see the same exact thing sounds ridiculous. Same museum, same view, same cathedral, whatever. But that standard ticket can cost you an hour standing in line. And this might be the only time in your life you're ever in that city. I'm not buying a better cathedral, I'm buying back an hour of my very precious time here. Get this, half the time, the long line you're seeing is just to buy the tickets. And there's usually an option to just buy them online right then and there for $0 extra. So this video footage right here was from our trip to Malta, and all these folks were just waiting to buy tickets. We showed up, saw the line, bought our tickets from our phone right then, and got to walk right in. Which, by the way, we could not have done if we hadn't spent a little money to have connection on our phones. Listen, you can get by these days just using Wi-Fi. You can. It's a choice, but that choice is limiting. So another thing we never do is travel without connection. It can be really worth looking into what international options your phone carrier has, or even switching carriers if you travel a lot. That's likely the ultimate inconvenience, but it will be the highest cost option. A good middle ground that I've found is eSIMs, and I've linked my preferred option below. We've used it in 20 plus countries now. Speaking of standing in lines, another thing I will never travel without, again, is trusted traveler programs like Global Entry and TSA PreCheck. TSA PreCheck makes getting through domestic US airport security faster, and Global Entry gets you back into the US from other countries way faster. Earlier this year, we landed back in the States with 20 minutes to deplane, clear customs, change terminals, and make our connection. And we made it. Without Global Entry, we would have definitely missed that flight, guaranteed. Now, something really stupid is people treat these programs like they're a flex, a status thing. They're not a flex, they're a time machine, okay? By the way, a lot of travel credit cards these days will actually reimburse the application fee on these. Ours did. So before you pay out of pocket, check what's already in your wallet. And I've linked a couple of our favorite options below. But even before I was playing the points and miles game, I was gladly paying that fee out of pocket because the time savings is legit. Another time saver is the bag you choose to carry. Checking a bag means that after your 9-hour flight, you don't get to hit the ground running. You get to go stand at a carousel and wait for your luggage. And sometimes your luggage doesn't even come. So to save time and eliminate the risk of a lost bag entirely, I travel carry-on only. But pulling that off took more than buying a smaller suitcase. It changed how I think about packing. This brings me to the second thing I never cheap out on, my ability to travel with less. Now, in a lot of areas of my life, I'm not a minimalist. And honestly, I think people have kind of turned minimalism into a religion. So I'm not trying to be dogmatic here at all. But there's something totally freeing about traveling with less. You just have less to be responsible for. It's a mental thing for me more than it is a physical one. When I get away, I want to bring less of home with me, fewer things to worry about and fewer things to keep track of so I can actually be where I am. Everything I need fits in one bag, almost always a backpack, and that's it. Nothing to check, nothing to lose, nothing that's gonna be hard to drag up a flight of stairs in the train station if the elevator is out. And in my experience, traveling with less tends to cost more. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it takes more thought and planning on the front end. It takes doing research and investing in better gear that helps you do more with fewer things. I have genuinely spent more money to own less stuff on the road, either so the stuff I do have can pull double duty, last longer, or both. Earlier this year, I set out to build my dream one-bag travel setup. This was not a cheap bag to put together, but it reduced a lot of the friction points that I've experienced through my years of travel. The whole thing had to be under 7 kilograms, 15 pounds, so that it could fit on even the strictest airlines. I had a bunch of other rules as well. Everything had to live in a pouch or a cube. Every tech item had to charge USB-C, so I could get by with a single type of cable and be okay. Everything had to have a home, so repacking my entire life would take less than 2 minutes. Basically, everything could pull double duty. My shorts are also swim trunks, my shoes, and most of my clothes were versatile enough for sightseeing or a nice dinner. The other thing is I didn't pack outfits. I packed a system. 5 shirts total for 3 weeks in Italy and Malta. 5. How? Well, several of the pieces I packed are made of merino wool, which as a fabric is a bit of a cheat code for packing light. It's breathable. It's temperature regulating, so it keeps you cool when it's warm and warm when it's cool. And best of all, it's meant to be re-worn because it resists odor and it's naturally antimicrobial. When I pack a merino shirt, I'm expecting at least 3 wears out of it before I have to wash it. My company of choice for merino wool, and the one that I've partnered with on today's video, is Unbound Merino, because they design these products specifically with travelers in mind. Simple, good-looking pieces, no loud logos, and everything is designed to mix and match. I have been wearing their stuff since way before we had a YouTube channel worth sponsoring, and at this point, they have genuinely replaced most of my travel wardrobe. These pieces are not cheap, okay? Full transparency, but I would rather have 5 shirts that can go all over the world with me than have to fill my bag with like 20 shirts that I have to lug around and wash constantly. If you want a discount on Unbound Merino, you can click the link in my description below and use the code AWAYTOGETHER for 10% off your first order. Big thanks to our friends at Unbound Merino for sponsoring today's video. All right, saving time, traveling light, those are both really about making space, reducing friction. But the whole reason you likely took this trip was to experience something, which brings me to the third thing that I no longer cheap out on, my experience. A couple ways this plays out. First, I've always been a do-it-yourself kind of traveler. I'm not a fan of group tours. I like planning travel myself, but I highly recommend investing in guided local experiences. You can absolutely see a place on your own, but there's just this whole layer you're not gonna get no matter how much you've read and watched. The stories, the context, the little door down the alley that you'd never find. The person who's lived there their whole life and can tell you what you're really looking at. So I like to hire a local expert. And to be clear, I don't mean the priciest packaged day trip on Airbnb experiences. I mean a real person who knows the place, a couple hours of genuine local expertise. Some of my favorite memories in all my travels come down to exactly this: making fresh pierogi in Poland, learning how Parmigiano Reggiano actually gets made in Italy, paragliding in Austria with a guy who's done it thousands of times. Those weren't the most expensive parts of the trip either, and they're the parts that I still talk about and think about years later. A good guide might run you $50 to a few $100 and turn out to be the best money you spend on your whole trip. You don't want to cheap out on that. 2, where you stay. And this one's got some nuance to it. Location, location, location. I like to be in or near the old town a lot of times, in a walkable, pedestrian-friendly area, close to public transport if needed, but away from loud nightlife and the most touristy part of things. This takes some sleuthing, and of course it varies place to place, but the goal is find a spot that positions you for maximum exposure to the place that you're spending limited time in, while limiting the negative side effects of the touristy areas. Then, the type of accommodations. The cheap move is to book purely on price, but sometimes that thinking is just not worth it. Real example, like many of you, we travel with our kids. And if you're all sharing one hotel room and the little one goes down at like 7 p.m., Well, your night is over, right? Because everyone is sitting in the dark in silence at 7 o'clock on vacation. So a lot of the time we're booking an apartment or an Airbnb with a couple of rooms and some common space, even when it costs a bit more, because it means the adults can actually have an evening while the kids sleep. This does not have to be a splurge, by the way. I am not saying go book the fancy skyscraper accommodations on the edge of town so you can have a marble lobby and a rooftop pool. If you're actually trying to learn about a place, what I've learned is dropping more money on a hotel or an apartment like that can honestly drive a wedge between you and the experience you're seeking. It gives you that same westernized bubble you could get anywhere. You flew all this way to be somewhere specific. Don't pay more to feel like you never left home. Match the stay to how you actually travel. Sometimes that's a guest house in the middle of Old Town. Sometimes it's the apartment with a washing machine so you can travel with less. So those are the three: my time, my ability to travel with less, and my experience. My whole approach is basically save where you can so you can splurge where it counts. It's not being cheap, it's being deliberate. And if you're curious about the exact items I chose to go into my dream one-bag travel setup, check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. Happy travels.